So while everyone gets in, I'm going to set myself up, and you please do the same. So make sure you have any of the things that you like for your practice. It can be your blankie, pillow, block, whatever the things that you like are. And if you aren't sure what those things are, just grab a bunch of stuff like pillows and blankets, comfy things. And then take your time. We're going to start. How are we going to start? We're going to start lying on our backs. And the sequence we're doing today, just a disclaimer while we begin, has a lot of hip opening, which I'm not allowed to do at the moment on my left side, says my chiropractor. So I'll tell you what to do and I'll demo it quickly, but then I'll come back out and sit in my normal seat like I would in real life class. So if you look through halfway and you see me like this, you stay where you are. Again, listen to my words, not to my body language, because I'll be doing something different. But I know that for a lot of people, those hip openers are so important. So I didn't want to rob you guys of hip openers just because I can't do them. So when you're ready, you'll lay on your back. You can lay in butterfly with the soles of your feet together. You could lay flat on your back. You could have the knees knocking into center. And then just close down your eyes. Take one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And start just by noticing. So a lot of today's class, we're going to be focusing on the nervous system, making sure that, making sure that we decompress and let go. So we're going to start this morning with some breath work to get us into our bodies and out of our minds. If you're just tuning in now, we're just laying on our backs in any position that's comfortable. Could be butterfly or inverted butterfly or legs flat. One hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. I always forget to say with the Zoom classes, because I assume most of you know, because we've already been in contact, but my name is Lucy. And as always, with any of my classes, I encourage you to move at your own pace. If you have any injuries, work within what works for you. If you have any questions about injuries, write in the chat. I'm here for you. So as you get comfortable with your breath and with your body in whatever position you've chosen, we'll start to invite breath in through the nose, down to the belly, expanding the belly really, really big. Open the mouth, let it go. Do that a couple of times, each time imagining that the belly could expand even larger than the last. And as you exhale, feel your body becoming softer, almost like you were an ice cube melting into the floor. Next time you do your big belly breath, keep the mouth closed on the exhale. And then you can stop having such expansive breath, but keep directing it to your tummy and keep breathing through the nose. Noticing the rhythm of the breath, the pace. See if you can slow it down just a little, maybe even pausing at the top and bottom just to notice. What's it like to be full at the top of your breath? And what's it like to be empty at the bottom? When we slow down the breath, when we slow down the movements, it gives us time to see more clearly. It's like a movie. If we have it going fast forward, we can't really see what's happening and the voices go high pitched and we kind of miss it. But when we slow motion, not that we would when we're watching a movie, but to give you the idea, when we go slow motion, we can see each piece of the picture. We have time to process things. See every color, every movement. On your next breath in, you'll go back to feeling the belly, feel your belly rise. Exhale, release through the nose. Then we're going to move up to the rib cage. I like to imagine I'm filling the back of my body with air. That's how I get into the rib area. So we're going to take a few breaths here just to feel out this space. You can move your hand up to that area if it helps. Breathing in, expanding the rib cage. Breathing out, letting it soften. A couple of rounds. Don't worry if it's not clicking straight away. It can take time, especially if you haven't done this kind of breath before. It'll be a nice way to feel into any tightness in the middle of the back as well. Another big breath into the ribs. And out. Let that go for a moment. Bring your attention to your top hand. We're going to take some shallower breaths just into the chest. So think right about the center of your chest. When you inhale, you're breathing into that spot. You may notice the rise of your chest as you do that. You may notice the fall. And if there's no physical noticing of moving into these areas as we move through them, just bring your attention to that area. Visualize your chest as you breathe in. Visualize your chest as you breathe out. A couple more times, just breathing into the chest. Notice how these shallow breaths make you feel. Not much space, just short. And then let that go. We're going to put all three pieces together. I'm going to I have to mute people because otherwise I hear me and then you hear me and it's a feedback loop. Okay, so back to where we were. We're going to put all three pieces together. I'm going to start from the belly and go ribs and chest, but if you want to do it the other way, that's fine. So taking a big breath in, starting with the belly, moving to the ribs, finishing at the chest in one inhale. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly, soften. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest, fill up. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly, soften. Now I'm going to start saying 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3 in case we're doing different areas. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Remember, if you can't physically feel it, you just visualize that space. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Don't worry if you're at a different time. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. It may even get a little slower. And if it's causing you stress or anxiety to try and get each spot, let the physical part go completely and just make it a visualization. Couple more rounds like this. Visualizing, if not feeling, into the belly, the ribs, the chest, the ribs, the belly. 3-part yogic breath. I've got about 2 more rounds, no rush. In fact, the opposite, slow it down. And when you finished your next exhale, full 3-part exhale, no rush, let that go. Normal rhythm, no control. Mouth or nose is fine. Notice how you feel. This breath is really nice to do if you have trouble sleeping or if you're feeling a lot of anxiety. It helps drop us into the rest and digest part of our nervous system, out of the fight or flight. When you're ready, you're going to reach down for your legs. The eyes could be closed or they could be open, it's up to you. And just start to invite in a small amount of movement here, really gently, so you're not disturbing that peace that you've just created. Imagine we've hit slow motion on you. Whatever you do one way, do the other direction. And then very simply, you'll drop your knees over to the left or a supine twist. Arms can be any variation that you like. You could reach them up overhead, out wide, anything that suits you. Let your intention for this class be to move as slowly as possible. And if at any point you want to come back to that 3-part breath, you can come back to the 3-part breath, but otherwise no breath control, just natural rhythm. Remember, my phone is my timer for those that may think I'm cheeky. You're in the comfort of your own home, you're muted. Feel free to make any noises that you like. It could be a sigh of relief, it could be a grumble of comfort. Let this pose hold you and let yourself let go. Shoulders, jaw, eyebrows. Notice if there's any desire to wiggle or fidget. Maybe allow yourself mindfully to do so, and then pause in stillness. And let your natural rhythm of breath keep you focused, keep you distracted from anything outside of this practice. Last minute. I always encourage a breath before movement, even if I forget to say it. So before you move, a big breath in. A long breath out. Slow motion back to center. Any position to rebound. You want to come to the classic pentacle. It's just extending the legs, making space between all your limbs. Closing the eyes down. When you feel ready, knees come back to chest for a little squeeze, a little hello, a little cuddle. And then gently to the other side, knees drop to the right, any variation in the arms. Now for some of us, we may be melting into bliss, into rest. But if you are a human being and that's not you today, sometimes we don't have days where it's easy to soften. And you notice the desire to fidget, the desire to move, the mind running rapid. Come back to your breath control, those deep belly breaths, noticing where the breath moves, even come back to the 3-part visualization. Every exhale you experience, where in your body can you release even more? Scanning from crown of head to the tips of the toes. mind stacking with loving kindness. Human being, chances are you'll disappear at some point into your thoughts. Totally fine. If you would prefer to move away from that, you just notice with love and kindness, and you bring yourself back to your breath, back to your body. Nice, big, deep belly breath. Stay for the exhale. And then wiggling back to center, back to your rebound. Whatever that is for you. Could be legs extended, could be knees touching, or reclined butterfly. It can be nice if you have any low back issues occasionally to rebound with the knees bent. Remember, this is your practice. I'm merely here just to suggest ways to move your body. But you are your greatest teacher, so if you desire to go anywhere else, please do. If you want to stay longer, change it up. As slowly as you would, as if you were about to head somewhere you didn't want to go. You're going to make your way onto your belly. So it might just be rolling over onto your belly. It might be coming to a seat and then making your way onto your belly. And then we're going to come into the mother of all poses, just kidding, but we're going to come into quite a tangled pose. So prop yourself up into Sphinx to begin, just to know where to go. And then take your elbows out wide, lower yourself back down. So your head theoretically could rest on the palms of your hands. If it's more comfortable, you could turn a cheek. Making sure when we do the other side, you turn the head the other way. We're going to start with the right knee coming out to the side in half frog. So if at any layer that I add onto this, you decide that it's enough for you, you just stop. You stop where you want to go. From here, the next layer would be coming back up to Sphinx. If you have any lower back stuff, you feel any pinching and it doesn't feel good, just lower yourself back down. You want to add the shoulders, another layer. The left hand is going to thread underneath the right armpit. Hips stay facing the floor. Option 1, lay back down. Use your hand as a pillow. Option 2, arm can reach behind you. Kind of like thread the needle if you're familiar with that pose. If the head feels like it's kind of not sure what to do and down is a bit too far, you could place a blanket or prop underneath the head if you're doing that open arm variation. Another option with the arm is to reach it up high or anywhere that feels good for you. And take a moment just to settle into a spot that feels sustainable. We don't want to feel too much. We don't want to push ourselves into the deepest posture ever, because we're going to be here for a few minutes and the sensation will grow. Just find somewhere that's just enough. And surrender to the pose. Just passing halfway for this side. Staying still. Maybe adjusting a small amount. If you're noticing pins and needles or a blood stop in the arm underneath, it's completely safe. Sometimes it lasts. Leave the pose too, so keep that in mind. It's fine to experience that. Breath before movement, and then slow motion, we come back just the same way we entered, piece by piece. Unravel each section one bit at a time. So you're all the way back on your tummy, head in whichever position feels best. When you're ready, starting to come into the other side. I'm just going to show you the same side again because I can't externally rotate that leg at the moment. But you guys will be taking your left knee out to the side, propping up in Sphinx, coming back down to take your leg out, If you want to come up to Sphinx, come up to Sphinx. If you want to take the next step, it'll be your right hand reaching under your left armpit as you thread and find basically the same variation as you did on the other side. Again, I won't be doing this one, so don't copy me. We're finding the pose we just did, but on the other side. If you can let your eyes be closed, your ears be open, your focus be inward.
It's with you every moment. It's a back and forth, letting go of your attachment to yourself, to outcomes, letting go to the way things are. If I could let go of everything, or I could let go of right or wrong, it would get deeper and deeper. And it was amazing.
Be fully present in your body, in your breath, in your experience that you have right now, constantly unfolding. This soft, still, and spacious place.
I could sense the lifetime of judgment against myself. And letting that go. With thoughtless breath, instant bliss returns. Instant infinity. I didn't transcend my ego. We became partners. We became teammates.
Taking that big belly breath. And then starting to think about slowly unraveling piece by piece the arm, the leg, until you're back in your rebound, maybe head to floor, maybe turning cheek to the opposite side, arms by the body. And just let yourself melt for a moment. Again, we move like sloths. So slow, no sudden movements. Gently coming all the way to your hands and your knees. And then all the way to seated. Tuck your toes underneath. We're not going to be here for long. Trust in the experience. Trust that it is temporary. Bring your hips back. Sit on top of your heels. Toes tucked underneath. If this is too much, you can lean slightly forwards. But keep the hips on the heels. Maybe the hands on the lap. And if you can, sit vertically over your heels, eyes closed, heart open, breath open. I know the sensation can be unreal in this pose, but when we feel that kind of intensity, we often need to feel it. Of course, if you need to come out of the pose early, you can, but just try and sit with whatever is coming up. Experience the discomfort. Experience the opening. Experience your reaction. I promise your toes aren't going to snap off. 3 more rounds of breath. Focus on the exhales. And as if this was your favorite pose ever, you're going to lean forward and start to very gently maybe tap the top of the feet. Rock back just for a moment to sit, toes untucked. And then a few options for this next one. You could either come into a wide-legged child's pose. This is option 1. Knees as wide as the mat, hips on the heels, hands reaching forwards. If this is enough for you and you feel a stretch, please don't go any further. If you have a little more space, you're going to take the knees wider than the mat and shift your pelvis a little more forward, allowing the chest, the tummy, more of your body to come to the floor. Tadpole. If you have full frog in your practice and you would like to go there, you can take the legs out. You could take a blanket or a cushion right underneath your pelvis to keep the hips a little higher. You can use the props in any poses however you like. And then you might stay up on the forearms. You could rest your head down. Some of us might reach forwards. Again, this is one that I will not be doing. I just demo and then out I go. Been given the all clear for that. So finding one of the 3 variations, wide-legged child's pose, knees as wide as the mat. Tadpole, knees even wider than the mat, pelvis tipping forwards. Or full frog pose. These hip openers can be intense. So stay with the breath. Notice how you react. Does your breath instantly want to get more shallow? Are you gripping? Are you fidgeting? Can you have the same ease you had in a supine twist? Yes, it feels very different, but can you react the same? Last minute in this shape. Those of us in the deepest variation, or anyone feeling a lot of intensity in this pose, take a deep breath in, stay for the exhale, and start to gently back your way out. Often it's not graceful. You may pause for a moment in a closed knee child's pose with the arms reaching back, or instead you might find a rebound on your belly, wherever you want to go. Our next pose will be seated, so you can rebound wherever you like. My favorite is the closed knee, arms back child's pose, but your favorite might be laying on your back or your tummy. Everybody finding their way to their rebound, finding their way back to softness. If the time is right, with no sudden movements, you'll find a comfortable seat with the legs extending out in front of you. Setting up for caterpillar pose. We're all going to take caterpillar today as opposed to the extended leg variation. So my suggestion would be start with your feet on the floor and your knees bent so much that you can feel your tummy or chest towards your thighs. If that's not happening for you, you could take a cushion, maybe one smaller than this if you have it, or a blanket, so that you have the connection between your torso and your thighs. Hug underneath. Once you have this connection, keep hold. Don't let that go. And then maybe you're wiggling the toes a little further away. Maybe. For me, I personally feel the most when my knees are in close towards me and my head goes between my knees. My tightness is more in the top of my back as opposed to the lower part of my back. That's why I feel it more like that. If your legs are further away, you're going to feel it more in your low back. So find the spot that suits your body. Feel free to spend the first little bit wiggling. As long as we're wiggling mindfully, it's okay. And then as you hold the pose, you let your body soften into whatever shape happens. The knees might naturally part. The hands might naturally drop away. Invite surrender. Soft jaw, soft eyebrows, shoulders, head heavy. Let go. Notice first, and then mindfully, really slow with this one. Unravel. You might start by bringing the spine up, head up. You're simply going to lower yourself all the way onto your back. Getting ready for our final resting posture. I know it's a bit controversial in yin, but we're going to take one bridge pose. If you have a block or something you can put under you for it and you'd rather do that, you can. It's just to neutralize the hips after opening them. The feet will find the earth, and for an in-breath, the pelvis will push up towards the sky, squeezing the inner thighs down. Stay for an inhale, and then as your exhale comes, you roll yourself back down. Let the hips land heavy. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Slow circles. It's like we're reversing the beginning of the practice, taking little wiggles, slow little movements to intuitively sense into the body. When you're ready, you'll release into your final resting pose. It can be the same as the starting pose. It can be pentacle. It can be feet wide, knees knocking into center. Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, whatever you like. And we'll quickly revisit that breath we cultivated at the start of practice. One hand comes to the heart, one hand comes to the belly. We start with a big belly breath in. Open mouth. And then straight into 3-part breath. Belly, ribs, chest, chest, ribs, belly. You've got it. Keep working with whatever was working for you at the beginning of practice. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Do this for about 5 rounds. I'll let you know when to let it go. Do one more complete round, 3-part yogic breath. Full 3-part inhale, full 3-part exhale, and then let the breath go. Let loving kindness wash over your body. Take your hands off your body, palms facing the sky. Gesture of surrender. We surrender to what we cannot control. We promise to notice our reactions, but we relieve ourselves of worry and tension over what we cannot control. One more breath in, exhale, open mouth, surrender, your final rest. Eyes soft, whole body releases. I'll be keeping the music going. And today we'll be ending exactly as we are, in your resting posture with your eyes closed down. Just breathing, just noticing. You'll bring your hands to your heart center, exactly as you are, perfect. And to each other, we recognize the light within us that is the same. And with love, we say, Namaste.